Hi, I'm Jeff Zinzer. I own Right Recruiting, and we're going to put together a series of videos. This is the first one that talks about recruiting for different disciplines. And in this one, we're going to talk about recruiting for engineering. Right Recruiting, my company, we work in any discipline. We fill all kinds of jobs. But our roots are in engineering recruiting because my roots are in engineering recruiting. One of the things I found over the decades I've worked in this industry is that most good recruiters have started in engineering, and engineering has its own challenges and distinctions. So in this video, we're going to talk about what makes recruiting for engineering unique, and maybe give you some hints about some things you can do that can make your recruiting effort better, other than hiring us, of course. Engineering is different in two areas. The first is recruiting engineers and engineering specifications have a very high degree of specificity. Here's what that means. I remember decades ago training a young fellow on being a recruiter, and our assignment was to find a machine design engineer for a client of ours. And he was very excited. He came to me with a resume for a machine design engineer that he wanted me to present to the client. I looked at the resume, and I had to say, listen, this person's not going to be a fit, because our client wants somebody who's designed machinery for the foods industry, and this person has designed machinery for the automotive industry. So it's not a fit. So, okay, fellow went back, did a lot more work, came back with another resume, very excited. I found somebody from the foods industry. I had to take a look at the resume, and once again, sadly, I had to disappoint this person. So listen, we also need somebody who has designed machinery that is controlled by PLCs, and this person has not done that. So this person has no experience with the type of automation our client needs, and that's what they want. And it became a series of disappointments, which is not unusual in engineering recruitment. Clients look for people who can hit the job running in engineering, and that's usually something that is documentable. You have done this or you can't. In many ways, it's like IT. You know this language or you don't. You understand this database or you don't. In engineering, you are familiar with this CAD system or you are not. You've designed these type of machinery or you are not. So the first challenging thing about engineering recruitment is actually knowing what the person is going to be doing. Not only is it specific in terms of the function, it's oddly unspecific in title. What does that mean? Well, I can tell you when we get an assignment for a cost accountant, that cost accountant is going to be a cost accountant in title in 90% of the companies that we reach out to. Same thing for a tax accountant. Same thing for an HR business partner. But a process engineer at one company might be a manufacturing engineer in another company, might be a project engineer in another company, and there could be 6 or 7 different titles that this person could have as you go from company to company. So while the specifications are very important, the title is not. And that can add a significant element of confusion to any recruiter who doesn't understand what the title actually means, what the job function actually is. Another reason that engineering recruitment is challenging is engineers. And engineers have their own value system. And before I get emails from every engineer, there's nothing wrong with that. Engineers value jobs based upon criteria that sometimes other disciplines don't. The technical challenge, the product, the technologies they work with, these are all legitimate reasons to want or not want a specific job. And a recruiter who is not used to that can get very, very frustrated. Engineering recruitment is often not a traditional career advancement issue for the engineer. It's not a where will this job lead, it's what will I do that's interesting to me. And unless you recognize that and respect that, it can be very frustrating to recruit for engineering. You can get into almost turf battles with the engineer as to why they should or shouldn't be interested in the job. So engineering recruiting is a discipline that requires somebody to actively investigate and understand what the job actually is that the company is hiring them for. It's not a job that is a title match, like a tax accountant would be. And sometimes junior recruiters or recruiters that are thrust into an engineering project without experience in that just do title searches, and that's a recipe for disaster. It also requires the recruiter to have enough personal maturity to respect the value system that the engineer brings to the career and not expect that to duplicate the value system that an accountant brings or a salesperson brings or that they themselves bring. So if you have a need for an engineering recruitment project, you need to ask some very hard questions about the recruiter, be they internal or external, about what type of engineering projects they've worked on, how often, what their success rate is, and whether they have enough of a background to be able to communicate effectively to this unique population. Hopefully that will help you. And if you want to learn more, certainly we're here to help you. Give us a call, contact us through LinkedIn, send us an email, Right Recruiting in beautiful Bluebell, Pennsylvania. Thanks.